My name is Lyra Keller, and I'm 32 years old. What happened at my sister's wedding didn't just stay in that ballroom. It spread across our entire business circle like wildfire. Picture this: 200 guests seated under crystal chandeliers, soft music playing, champagne glasses clinking. And then my mother's hand striking my face so hard my diamond earring flew across the marble floor. Why? Because I refused to hand over the keys to my luxury penthouse right there, in the middle of the reception speeches. But that wasn't even the most shocking part. An hour later, when the CEO of one of the most powerful investment groups in the city walked through those doors, everything changed. My mother's scream echoed so loudly people said it could be heard floors above us, because that man wasn't just any CEO. He owned nearly half of my father's company, and he had been watching everything, live. Before we go any further, take a moment to subscribe, but only if you believe in your self-worth and refuse to let anyone take advantage of you. Please tell me, where are you listening from? I'd genuinely love to see how far this story spreads and who it connects with. This is a fictional story, enhanced with the help of artificial intelligence to make it more vivid, but the emotions behind it are real. Now let me take you back to that morning. I thought I was just attending my younger sister's perfect wedding. I arrived at the Silver Crest Hotel at exactly 8 a.m., 3 hours before the ceremony. The ballroom was breathtaking, white orchids cascading from tall centerpieces, gold-trimmed chairs, soft candlelight glowing across polished floors. It was everything my sister, Alina, had dreamed of since we were little girls. I had quietly transferred $50,000 to help make this day happen. Of course, no one ever mentioned that. Lyra, finally. My mother said the moment she saw me, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. That dress. Couldn't you have chosen something softer? You look like you're about to close a deal, not attend a wedding. I glanced down at my charcoal silk dress. It was elegant. Structured, yes. Exactly like something I'd wear to an executive meeting. Good morning to you, too. Mom, I replied calmly. Alina looks absolutely stunning, she continued, ignoring me completely. A real bride. You should see how she glows. That comparison? It wasn't new. For 32 years, I had been the daughter who was too ambitious, too independent, too wrong. Alina was the golden one, sweet, graceful. Everything my parents had ever wanted. Lyra, check the seating chart, my father called from across the room. But don't start rearranging everything like you always do. I pressed my lips together. The seating plan was a disaster: divorced couples at the same table. Business rivals side by side, but pointing that out would only make me difficult again. What they didn't know, what I had never told them, was that I wasn't just some mid-level employee. I was the vice president of development at Keller & Rowe Capital, overseeing multi-million-dollar expansions across Asia-Pacific. In any other room, that would earn respect. In this family, it was just another flaw. Too driven, too independent, too much like the son they never had. Of course. Dad, I said, keeping my voice steady as I adjusted a crooked centerpiece. I'll make sure everything is perfect for Alina. Family comes first. Lyra, he said, stepping closer. You'll understand that someday, if you ever settle down. The jab was quiet, but it landed exactly where it was meant to. At 32, the fact that I wasn't married somehow mattered more to them than everything I had built. Daniel, leave her alone, Aunt Vivian said, though the hint of amusement in her voice made it clear she wasn't really defending me. Not everyone can be as lucky as Alina, finding love so early. I kept my attention on the centerpiece in front of me, adjusting a slightly crooked candle as if it actually mattered. It was easier than reacting. easier than reminding them that luck had nothing to do with it. Around me, the whispers started, soft but sharp enough to cut. Still no ring on Lyra's finger. All those years in the city. And she couldn't find anyone, poor Helena. At least Alina will give her grandchildren. My cousin Marcus leaned casually against a nearby table, a smirk playing on his lips. Hey, Lyra. Maybe if you spent less time in boardrooms and more time in real life, you'd have brought a date today. Laughter spread quickly, light and effortless, like this was all just harmless teasing. I could have told them about the men I dated this past year. Men who were confident until they realized I earned more than them. Men who admired ambition until it wasn't theirs. I could have explained that being single wasn't a failure, it was a decision. But what was the point? She's just very particular. My mother added smoothly to the growing audience. Always has been. Too picky for her own good. I adjusted another centerpiece. My hands steady despite the familiar ache in my chest. They didn't know me. Not really. And maybe that was better. So, Lyra. Aunt Celeste chirped as guests began mingling before the ceremony. How's that little apartment of yours in the city? Must be cozy? It's a penthouse. Actually, I said quietly. The reaction was immediate. Laughter burst out around me. A penthouse. Aunt Celeste wiped at the corner of her eyes. Oh, Lyra. You and your imagination. She does love to exaggerate, Alina added. Gliding toward us in her wedding dress, radiant and perfectly composed. Last year she said she was buying an electric car. Can you imagine? It was parked outside, but I just smiled. Lyra's always been ambitious, my mother said. Her tone turning ambition into something almost shameful, too ambitious. Really, there's nothing wrong with living modestly. Uncle Raymond chimed in, his voice thick with condescension. Not everyone can afford luxury, and that's okay. My phone buzzed softly in my hand, a notification from the concierge, confirmation of a delivery scheduled for tomorrow morning to my 4,500 square foot penthouse on the 45th floor, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire skyline. The one I paid for in full after closing a deal in Singapore that made headlines. I could have shown them. The photos. The articles. The proof. But what would that really change? You're right, Uncle, I said instead, slipping my phone back into my clutch. There's nothing wrong with living within your means. Elena laughed lightly, the sound delicate and practiced. See, Lyra's finally learning to be realistic. There was something almost poetic about it. I stepped away from the group and moved toward the tall windows at the edge of the ballroom. From there, I could see the city stretching endlessly into the distance. Somewhere out there, rising above the skyline, was my home. 10 years. That's how long it took me to get there. 10 years of 80-hour weeks, overnight flights, negotiations that stretched into sunrise. 10 years of proving myself in rooms where no one expected me to succeed. That penthouse wasn't just a place to live. It was proof. Proof that the girl they underestimated had built something real, something valuable, something entirely her own. Every inch of it earned, every detail paid for by my own work. And if I handed it over now, like some casual gift, what would that make me? The backup plan? The invisible provider. The one who existed only to make sure the golden child never lacked anything. I thought about the nights I fell asleep at my desk, still in my heels, surrounded by contracts and projections. The deals that brought in millions. The promotions that came with expectations I met and exceeded. All of it. And none of it mattered here. The promotions I earned while they were busy planning Alina's engagement parties. The authority I carried into boardrooms across 3 continents. the deals that reshaped entire markets. None of it mattered here. To them, I was still just Lyra, too sharp, too driven, too much. And if I gave in now, if I handed over the one thing that represented everything I had built on my own, I would be proving them right, confirming that I existed only to support someone else's story. My phone lit up quietly in my hand. A message from my assistant. It was a photo. The view from my penthouse that morning, the sun rising over the city, golden light spilling through the glass walls, illuminating every corner of the space I had fought so hard to claim. Your sanctuary is waiting for you, boss. I stared at the image for a moment longer than I should have. Sanctuary. That was exactly what it was. The only place where I wasn't compared, criticized, or reduced. The only place where I was simply Lyra Keller, not someone's disappointment, not someone's afterthought, just me. And there was no version of reality where I would give that up. Not for approval, not for peace, not even for family. Elena is everything a mother could ever wish for. I heard my mother say nearby, her voice carrying effortlessly across the room. I didn't need to turn around to know she was smiling, glowing. Even, she's kind, graceful, so thoughtful. She volunteers at the Children's Center every weekend, and now she's going to be such a wonderful wife. Soft murmurs of admiration followed, guests nodding, smiling, praising. My mother stood there, proud and radiant, listing Elena's accomplishments one by one. Her degree, her engagement, her charity work. My name never came up. Not once. 3 months ago, I had transferred $50,000 into my parents' account when my father mentioned the wedding costs were climbing. I had used my connections to get Elena featured in one of the most exclusive bridal magazines in the city. I had even arranged an upgrade for their honeymoon suite using my corporate travel privileges. Invisible. That's what I was. A resource. A quiet presence that appeared when needed and disappeared when it wasn't. Such a beautiful family. Someone nearby said warmly, "You must be so proud of your daughter." "We are," my father replied, his arm resting comfortably around my mother's shoulders. "Elena has brought us so much joy. Daughter, singular, as if I didn't exist." I turned away before the weight of it settled too deeply, and then I heard something that made me stop. My father's voice. Lower now, but not low enough. "After the toast," he murmured, "we'll make the announcement about the penthouse." My body went still. "You're sure Lyra will agree?" my mother whispered back. "She won't have a choice," he replied calmly. "Not in front of everyone. She's too composed to cause a scene at her sister's wedding." A chill ran through me. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't generosity. This was planned. Carefully. Deliberately planned. An ambush. A moment designed to trap me in front of an audience, where refusal would make me look cruel, selfish, ungrateful. "What does she even need a penthouse for?" my mother added softly. "It's not like she has a family to fill it." The words hit harder than they should have. But instead of breaking something inside me, they clarified everything. I wasn't going to play along. Not this time. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, like your achievements only matter when they serve someone else's expectations, then you understand exactly what this feels like. I see you, and what you've built matters. Whether anyone acknowledges it or not, because what happened next was the moment everything changed. The moment private tension turned into public humiliation. The moment I stopped being the quiet one. The reception was alive with music and conversation when my father suddenly stood up, lifting his glass and tapping it gently with a spoon. The sound rang out clearly, and just like that, the entire room fell silent. 200 guests turned toward my father at once. Before we continue celebrating, he began, his voice amplified through the microphone, confident and controlled. Helena and I would like to give Alina and Adrian something truly special. My stomach dropped. They were actually doing it, as you all know. Family means everything to us, he continued, smiling warmly at the crowd. And there is nothing we wouldn't do for our children's happiness. Children. Plural. But his gaze never left Alina. That's why we're so proud to announce that Lyra has generously agreed to gift her city penthouse to Alina and Adrian as a wedding present. The room exploded into applause. Alina lifted her hands to her chest, her expression perfectly crafted surprise, though the faint curve of her lips told me she had known all along. Adrian pulled her closer, grinning like he had just won something he didn't earn. Oh my God. Lyra, Alina said into the microphone, her voice soft and emotional. Are you serious? Your penthouse. Every single person in that room turned to look at me. I stood there, frozen, a champagne glass still in my hand, my thoughts racing faster than I could control. They had planned every detail, the announcement, the timing, Alina's reaction, the audience. Refusing now wouldn't just be a disagreement. It would make me the villain. Lyra. Come up here. My father called, gesturing toward the stage. Let's have the whole family together for this moment. The applause didn't stop. People smiled at me, some even wiping away tears like they were witnessing something beautiful. At table 12, I spotted the wife of one of our firm's senior partners. At table 8, 3 of my biggest clients. My entire professional world was sitting in that room, watching, waiting, expecting me to smile, to agree, to play the role they had written for me. This wasn't just pressure. It was control. Carefully executed. Publicly staged. I placed my champagne glass down on the nearest table and stood up slowly. The room quieted almost instantly. I'm sorry. What I didn't need the microphone. My voice carried anyway. My father's smile faltered. Just slightly. Your penthouse, sweetheart, he said, forcing a light tone. For Alina and Adrian. This wasn't discussed with me, I replied, my voice calm, measured, unmistakably firm. A ripple of whispers spread across the room. My father's expression hardened. Don't be selfish on your sister's wedding day, he said into the microphone, making sure every guest heard him. Dad, this isn't appropriate, I said. We can talk about this privately. There's nothing to discuss. My mother stepped forward, taking the microphone from him with practiced ease. It's a gift from the family, she announced. It's my property, I said simply, and I haven't agreed to anything. The whispers grew louder. How could she? On her sister's wedding day? So selfish? Alina's eyes filled with tears, perfectly timed, glistening under the lights. Lyra, she said softly, her voice trembling just enough. I thought you'd want me to be happy. Your happiness doesn't require my home. Alina, it's just a property. My father cut in sharply. You can buy another one, then you can buy her one. I replied. The reaction was immediate. Gasps echoed across the ballroom. Someone near the front actually clutched their necklace in shock. The photographer didn't stop. His camera clicked rapidly, capturing every second. Lyra, please. Adrian stepped forward, raising his hand slightly, trying to calm the situation. We'd take great care of it. I'm sure you would, I said calmly, meeting Adrian's eyes for a brief second. but the penthouse is not available. My mother's face flushed instantly, the color rising so fast it looked almost unnatural. My father stood rigid beside her, his jaw tightening, his expression flickering between anger and disbelief. And Alina. The softness in her expression began to crack. Just for a moment. Something sharper slipped through. Something less polished. "Come on." "Lyra," Aunt Celeste called out from one of the tables. "It's family. You don't even have a family to fill a place like that." Uncle Raymond added loudly. "Alina needs it more. She's starting a life." Another voice chimed in. "What do you need all that space for?" The comments came faster now, from every direction, each one pressing in, each one tightening the circle around me. "Be reasonable," my cousin Marcus shouted. "Stop making this difficult." "It's not like you can't afford another one," Aunt Vivian added, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "With your big, important job." They still didn't believe me, even now, standing in front of them. They thought everything I had was exaggerated, temporary. "Luck." "That's generous of you to assume," I said evenly. Despite the storm building inside me, but my financial situation isn't something I plan to discuss publicly. Everything is always about money with you. My mother snapped into the microphone. "Your sister's happiness should matter more than property." "If her happiness depends on taking what belongs to me," I replied, my voice steady, "then maybe that's something worth questioning." A wave of gasps spread through the room. Someone in the back actually booed. The photographer kept shooting, the flashes coming rapidly now, turning the entire moment into something surreal. But I didn't move. I didn't flinch. I had stood in rooms filled with executives who would tear apart anyone who showed weakness. I had negotiated deals where millions were on the line. I wasn't going to break here. Not for this. "The penthouse is not available," I repeated, each word clear and deliberate. "If you believe my parents were right to pressure me into giving up my own home in front of everyone, then comment correct. But if you think what they did crossed a line trying to take what I built through humiliation and force, then comment. The robbers, I really want to know where you stand. Because moments like this reveal more than just a story. They reveal what we believe is fair. Let's wait and see what happens next." My phone vibrated sharply inside my clutch. Once, twice, then again. I pulled it out, needing a second away from the weight of their stares. 3 missed calls, and a message that made my pulse shift. Watching the live stream. On standby. Live stream. My eyes lifted slowly, scanning the room until I saw it. A phone propped up on table 6, facing the stage, recording everything. The small red indicator blinking steadily. This wasn't just a private family conflict anymore. This was public. Completely public. Another message appeared. "Your call. Just say the word." Adrian Chen, my mentor, my CEO, and the man who, unbeknownst to my father, controlled a significant share of his company. We had kept that connection quiet for a reason. For a moment, exactly like this. "Lyra." "Put the phone away." My mother snapped. "This is family time." I glanced back at her, then tilted my head slightly toward the phone on the table. "It seems like it's also public entertainment," I said. "Your son-in-law's family is streaming this to the internet." Adrian's younger brother rushed forward, grabbing the device. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. How many people had seen this? How many were watching right now? Watching my parents try to force me into handing over my home, I typed quickly, "Wait for my signal." Then I slipped my phone back into my clutch. So dramatic. Alina sighed into the microphone, her voice soft, wounded, perfectly performed. All this over a piece of property. I just thought, I thought my sister loved me enough to help me start my marriage the right way. The crowd responded exactly how she wanted. Soft murmurs, sympathy, disapproval directed squarely at me. Poor Alina, rejected by her cold, selfish sister. But something else caught my attention. My father had taken out his phone, and with every glance at the screen, his face was getting paler. "Your wedding is trending. By the way," I said quietly to Alina, just loud enough for her to hear. "Congratulations." She blinked at me, confused for a split second, before her expression hardened again behind that practiced mask, standing there, surrounded by judgment. A memory surfaced in my mind. 6 months ago. Adrian had insisted on adding a clause to my penthouse agreement. I could still hear his voice as he reviewed the documents. Calm, precise. "Trust me. Lyra, you want protection against third-party interference, especially family pressure." I had laughed at the time. My family was difficult, not dangerous. But Adrian had built his empire from nothing. He understood things I didn't want to see. "If anyone tries to force you to transfer ownership under pressure," he had continued, tapping the page, "this clause activates. The company retains the right of first refusal. We can step in. Legally. Immediately." Clause 15.3. I remembered it clearly now. The penthouse had originally been a corporate asset, transferred to me as part of my compensation package. Every document was airtight, every detail legitimate. And that clause, it wasn't just legal protection. It was a shield. A safeguard against exactly this kind of situation. Adrian had seen it before. Successful women pressured, cornered, manipulated into giving up what they earned to people who felt entitled to it. "Lyra has always been stubborn," my father was saying now, forcing a strained smile as he tried to regain control of the room. "But she knows family comes first. Family doesn't ambush each other." I said. My voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. The room fell silent again. Even the servers had stopped moving, trays frozen in their hands as they watched everything unfold. I thought about the documents sitting in Adrian's office, the ones that didn't just outline ownership of my penthouse, but the deeper structure of Keller and Rowe Capital, the ones that would completely change how my father saw me, if he ever understood them. I almost felt grateful for that clause. Almost. My mother suddenly stepped down from the stage, her heels striking sharply against the floor as she crossed the room toward me. Her gown shimmered under the lights. But there was nothing graceful about the way she moved. She still held the microphone, her fingers wrapped tightly around it. "Lyra Keller." Her voice echoed through the speakers, sharp and cutting. "You will not ruin this day. You will not embarrass this family. I'm not the one creating a scene. Mother, we raised you better than this." She was close now. Close enough for me to see the tension in her face, the anger barely contained behind her expression. "We gave you everything. You gave Alina everything." I replied evenly. "I earned what I have. You ungrateful." She stopped herself, glancing briefly at the crowd. Then her tone shifted instantly. Sweetness layered over something far less pleasant. "Sweetheart," she said, her voice suddenly gentle, almost pleading. "Just give your sister the keys. It's such a small thing." "No." The word hung between us. Heavy. Final. Her face changed again. Disbelief. Then anger. Then something closer to humiliation. The entire ballroom seemed to hold its breath. "You will do this," she hissed, lowering the microphone just enough that her voice dropped. "Or so help me." Or what I asked. Genuinely curious what she thought could still control me. She lifted the microphone again, turning back to the audience. "Everyone." she announced, her voice sharp. My daughter seems to have forgotten what family means. A ripple moved through the crowd, uneasy, divided. Some voices rose in support of Alina. Others stayed silent, watching, waiting. Give your sister the keys, my mother said again. Her voice now low, dangerous, still carried through the microphone. Now. I didn't move. I didn't answer. No. You selfish, ungrateful girl, she suddenly shouted. After everything we've done, everything we've sacrificed. You can't do this one thing, my mother shouted, her voice shaking with rage. You are a disgrace to this family. She was so close now that I could smell her perfume, that heavy floral scent I had known since childhood. It felt suffocating, close enough for me to see it clearly, not disappointment, not hurt, resentment, years of it, burning behind her eyes. And then it happened. The slap came without warning. Her hand struck my cheek with such force that my head snapped to the side. The sound cracked through the ballroom, sharp and violent, amplified by the microphone still clutched in her hand. My diamond earring tore free, spinning through the air before hitting the marble floor with a faint, almost delicate sound. 200 people gasped at once, and then silence. Complete silence. The kind that presses against your ears until all you can hear is your own heartbeat. I stood there, unmoving. My cheek burned, heat spreading slowly across my face. But I didn't raise a hand to it. I didn't react. The photographer had stopped shooting. The staff stood frozen in place. Even the children had gone quiet. My mother's hand was still raised, suspended mid-air like she couldn't quite believe what she had just done. The microphone trembled slightly in her other hand, picking up every uneven breath. In the mirrored walls, I could see everything, my own reflection, the red mark forming across my cheek. My father halfway out of his seat. Alina, her hands covering her mouth, her expression somewhere between shock and something else I couldn't quite name. And at the edge of it all, a phone raised again. Recording. My earring lay on the white marble floor, a few feet away, catching the chandelier light. It was such a small thing, and yet, in that moment, it felt like the center of everything. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I let the silence settle. Let it stretch. Let it say everything I didn't need to. Then slowly, deliberately, I stepped forward. My heels echoed against the marble, each step sharp in the stillness. I bent down, picked up the earring, and carefully placed it back where it belonged. The motion was simple, but it felt like time had slowed around it, like every second carried weight. I straightened, smoothing the front of my dress, and looked directly at my mother. Her hand had lowered now, but she still held the microphone, her face shifting between defiance and something dangerously close to realization. "Excuse me," I said quietly, my voice steady, controlled. Then I turned toward the head table. "Congratulations, Alina," I said. "I hope your marriage brings you happiness." I picked up my clutch and began walking toward the exit. Not rushing, not hesitating, just walking. The same way I would leave a meeting that had already been decided. "Lyra," my father called after me. "Lyra. Wait." I didn't stop. I didn't turn around. Behind me. The silence shattered into chaos. Voices rose behind me, overlapping. Chaotic. Chairs scraped against the floor. Someone was crying. Someone else was shouting. I didn't look back. The moment I stepped through the ballroom doors and into the quiet of the hallway, I pulled out my phone and called Adrian. He picked up on the first ring. "Lyra. Green light." I said simply. There was no hesitation. "Understood." How long? Give me 45 minutes to get home. A brief pause. Then his voice shifted. Quieter. Are you okay? My fingers brushed lightly against my cheek. Still warm. Still throbbing. Execute the contingency, I said. I already have legal moving. He replied. Lyra. I meant. Are you hurt? Nothing that won't heal, I said as I stepped into the elevator. But Adrian, bring the shareholder agreement, the one my father never bothered to read. A hint of satisfaction slipped into his tone. With pleasure, I ended the call just as the elevator doors closed, sealing off the noise, the chaos, and everything I had just walked away from. That moment, the slap in front of 200 people. Did it make your blood boil? Because I know what it feels like to be humiliated by the very people who are supposed to protect you. But here's the thing. The strongest response isn't always anger. Sometimes, it's strategy. What came next proved exactly why you should never underestimate someone who has finally decided they've had enough. If you believe in standing up for yourself, make sure you like this video. And if you've ever had to draw a hard line with family, type boundaries in the comments. Because this is where everything changes. Where the invisible daughter stops playing along and starts taking control. 45 minutes later, I was standing inside my penthouse, an ice pack resting against my cheek as I looked out over the city. My phone buzzed. Adrian, entering the building now. I set the ice pack aside and changed into jeans and a soft sweater. No armor this time, no performance. Because the outcome had already been decided. They just didn't know it yet. My phone lit up again, this time with a flood of notifications. The live stream had spread. Fast. Over 500 shares already. The moment of the slap had been clipped, replayed, turned into something people could consume in seconds. But I didn't care about going viral. I cared about what was happening next. I wasn't thinking about the video. I was thinking about that ballroom, about what was happening in it right now. My phone buzzed again. A message from Adrian. Walking in. Your father just saw me. I could picture it instantly. Adrian Chen stepping into that ballroom in a perfectly tailored suit. Calm, controlled, commanding attention without saying a word. 2 lawyers at his side, carrying the kind of quiet authority that didn't need explanation. The same Adrian Chen whose name appeared in Forbes. The same man my father had been trying, unsuccessfully, to secure a meeting with for the past 6 months. Another message came through. He just went pale. Your mother is screaming. I walked slowly toward the glass wall of my penthouse, looking out over the city lights stretching endlessly below. Somewhere down there, everything was shifting. Not emotionally, structurally. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Lyra. It was a hushed voice. Adrian's younger brother. You need to see this. He whispered. Your dad looks like he's about to collapse. This guy just walked in. Said your name. Something about partnership agreements. Your mom? She literally screamed when she saw him. Who is that? I let a small pause settle before answering. Someone who protects his investments. Your dad keeps saying his name. Chen. Is this the Chen? The one who owns? I have to go, I said, ending the call. The city outside remained calm, beautiful, unaffected. But inside that ballroom, everything was coming apart. My phone rang again. This time. Adrian, you're on speaker. He said, I'm with your parents. And their guests. I could hear it. The silence. Heavy. Tense. Watching. Daniel. Adrian's voice carried clearly, sharp with authority. I need to clarify something for everyone here. No hesitation. No softness. Lyra Keller is not simply an employee at my firm. She is our Vice President of Development, responsible for our entire Asia-Pacific expansion. A wave of shocked murmurs followed. That's not possible. My father's voice came through. Weaker now. Uncertain. The Singapore deal that generated over $40 million in revenue, Adrian continued, was led entirely by Lyra, the Tokyo division. Currently our most profitable branch, was built from the ground up by her. The partnership your company has been trying to secure for months. She negotiated every detail. Silence again. You're lying. My mother's voice broke through, sharp and desperate. Mrs. and Keller, Adrian replied evenly. Your daughter is one of the most valuable executives in the city. The penthouse you attempted to take from her is not just personal property. It was part of her executive compensation package. A pause. Then, colder. A package that includes specific protections. What protections? My father asked. His voice strained. The kind that activate when someone attempts to force her to surrender corporate assets under pressure, which, according to the livestream currently circulating and already viewed over 20,000 times, is exactly what happened tonight. 20,000, in less than an hour, and as a major shareholder in your company. Adrian continued, his tone tightening. I am deeply concerned by what I've witnessed. Attempting to publicly coerce your own daughter, allowing physical assault to occur. This raises serious questions about your judgment and your leadership. You can't interfere, my father snapped, though there was no strength behind it anymore. This is a family matter. The moment you made it public, Adrian replied, it became my matter. A brief pause. Lyra, are you still there? I'm here, I said calmly. Would you like to press charges for assault? Silence flooded the line again. Let me be very clear. Adrian continued, his voice cutting through the tension. The evidence shows both assault and attempted coercion. This activates Clause 15.3 of our shareholder agreement. A rustling sound. Papers being placed down. Daniel, he said. Almost conversational now. The clause regarding conduct unbecoming of leadership. What are you talking about? My father's voice cracked. All confidence gone now. Page 47 of the agreement you signed 5 years ago, Adrian replied smoothly. I can call an emergency board meeting within 24 hours. I control 40%. The Halberg Trust controls another 15%. And they're already very interested in what's happening here. You can do the math. I could hear papers shifting. The sound of documents being placed down in front of him. This is extortion, my mother screamed. No, Mrs. Keller. Adrian said calmly. Extortion was demanding your daughter's property in front of 200 witnesses. This is consequence management. Lyra. My father's voice broke through. Desperate now. Tell him to stop. This has gone too far. Too far, I said quietly. Like slapping your daughter in front of an entire room wasn't too far. You can't destroy our company over this, he said, his tone pleading. I'm not destroying anything, I replied. I'm protecting what belongs to me. Adrian is protecting his investment. If your behavior threatens that, then that's on you, a voice in the background whispered. Barely contained. The video is everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, even local news picked it up. Of course it had. This is what's going to happen, Adrian continued, his tone decisive. Daniel, you have 48 hours to issue a public apology to Lyra, a real one. You will acknowledge her achievements and her legal ownership of the penthouse. Helena, you will do the same, and you will keep your distance from her moving forward. Or what my mother demanded, her voice shaking. Or I exercise my rights as a major shareholder. Adrian said, your company depends on my capital for its expansion. Without it, you're looking at insolvency within 6 months. This is my daughter's wedding, my mother cried, her voice unraveling. You can't do this here. You're right, Adrian said calmly. This isn't the place. That's why you have 48 hours. A pause. Then, colder. The penthouse remains Lyra's, untouched, uncontested. Any further attempt to pressure or manipulate her will result in immediate legal action. She's our daughter, my father said weakly. Then start acting like it. Adrian shot back. Not like she's an asset you can redistribute to your favorite child. I heard Alina crying softly in the background. This was supposed to be my day, she said through tears. It still is. Adrian replied, What happens next depends on your family. There was movement, voices shifting, chairs scraping again. Then Alina's voice came through the line, fragile but sharp underneath. How could you do this to me? Lyra, I didn't do anything to you, I said calmly. I simply refused to give you my home. Everything else? The announcement? The pressure? The slap? That was Mom and Dad. Not me. Silence. The penthouse is mine. I continued. I earned it. If you want one, earn your own. You're so cruel, she whispered. No, I said quietly. I'm just done being the one who gives everything. More movement. A low murmur spreading across the room. Then Adrian's voice returned. Closer to the phone. The documents have been served. Your parents understand their options. The rest is up to them. Thank you, I said. And I'm sorry it came to this. So am I, he replied. A brief pause. The photographer captured everything. By the way, high-resolution images. Already secured, in case we need them. My father groaned audibly in the background. 48 hours. Daniel. Adrian said one final time, public apology, or I call the board. A click. The line went dead. I stood there in the quiet of my penthouse, staring out at the city lights. For the first time that night, I could breathe. My cheek still ached. A dull reminder of what had happened. But something else had lifted. A weight I hadn't even realized I'd been carrying for 32 years. Within 2 hours, my phone was flooded with messages. The video had spread everywhere. What happened in that ballroom was no longer just a family secret. Alina called me 15 times that night. I didn't answer. My phone kept lighting up, vibrating against the marble counter, her name flashing over and over again. I let it ring until it stopped. Then again. And again. Until the silence finally stayed. My mother texted next. You've ruined everything. The wedding is destroyed. Guests are leaving. Are you happy now? I stared at the message for a moment, then locked my screen without replying. My father's message came a few minutes later. We need to talk. Please. That one almost made me pause. Almost. But the messages that followed were the ones that truly mattered. Not from family, from his clients. Daniel. I'm concerned about what I just saw. We need to review our contract. Michael Grant. Grant Holdings. This behavior is unacceptable. My partners are reconsidering our agreement. Victor Hahn. Hahn Global. I don't do business with men who hit their own children. Contract terminated. Laura Bennett. Bennett Logistics. That last one alone was worth millions annually. Gone. Just like that. I leaned back slightly, exhaling slowly as the reality began to settle in. Actions had consequences, and for the first time, they weren't mine. Another notification popped up. Adrian's family group chat. I had been added months ago, back when everything still looked normal from the outside. His mother had written first. We're leaving. This is disgraceful. His father followed. The wedding is on hold until we understand what kind of family we're dealing with. I read the messages without emotion. The wedding was unraveling, and I wasn't even there to see it. Adrian texted me privately. Your father just called. He's panicking. 3 more clients reached out. Then another message came. This one from someone who had been at the reception. Your mom fainted when she realized Adrian is your boss. Not joking. They had to call paramedics. I let out a quiet breath, then walked to the wine cabinet. I poured myself a glass from a bottle I had been saving. If standing up for myself didn't count as a special occasion, I didn't know what did. My assistant texted next. Boss, you're trending everywhere. Also, 5 recruiters have already called asking if you're open to new offers. Apparently, standing up to toxic family is a very good look right now. I actually laughed. Not bitter. Not forced. Real. By Monday morning, the entire business community had chosen a side, and it wasn't even close. The video had spread across every major network, every professional circle. The narrative was clear. A successful woman refused to be manipulated. A powerful executive protected her position, and a family tried to take what they didn't earn. My father's company lost 6 contracts within 48 hours. The expansion he had spent 2 years planning collapsed almost overnight, without Adrian's backing and with clients pulling out. Downsizing wasn't a possibility. It was inevitable. Elena's honeymoon to Bali was canceled. Not by her, by Adrian's family. They wanted time, space, distance from everything they had just witnessed. Wedding gifts were being returned, invitations withdrawn, conversations shifting behind closed doors. But the most unexpected outcome came from my own company. Adrian called me into his office Monday afternoon. No small talk, no build-up. The board wants to promote you, he said. I blinked once. Excuse me, Senior Vice President of Global Operations. He continued. Your work in Asia Pacific and how you handled the situation, they're impressed. I let out a quiet breath. I got slapped at a wedding. That impressed them. You didn't react emotionally, he said. You held your ground under extreme pressure. You protected company assets. And you knew exactly when to escalate. He leaned back slightly. I've seen executives crumble over less. You didn't just hold your position. Lyra, you won. The promotion came with a significant increase in stock options. Enough to buy another penthouse if I wanted. But I didn't. The one I had was more than enough. It wasn't just a home. It was proof. Proof of everything I had built without them. I donated my bonus to a shelter that helped women leave abusive environments. It felt right. 47 hours after Adrian's ultimatum, my father released a public statement. It was stiff, carefully worded, clearly written by lawyers, but it said what it needed to. I apologized to my daughter, Lyra Keller, for my behavior at the recent family event. I acknowledge her achievements and her rightful ownership of her property. This matter is now closed. I read it once, then set my phone down. My mother never apologized. Instead, she posted a long rant online, calling me ungrateful, selfish, corrupted by ambition. Screenshots spread quickly, alongside comments that didn't go the way she expected. I see where the problem started. The comments under my mother's post didn't go the way she expected. People saw through it. They had already seen the video. A week later, Elena finally texted me. You ruined my life. Adrian's family is forcing us into counseling before they'll even consider continuing the marriage. They think my family is toxic. I stared at the message for a moment before replying. They're not wrong. Her response came instantly. I hate you. I know. I typed back. After that, silence. The rest of the family split quickly. Some defended my parents, repeating the same line I had heard my entire life. Family comes first. Others reached out quietly, privately, admitting what they had always seen but never said. My cousin Marcus sent me a message. "I'm sorry. I didn't realize how bad it really was." Aunt Vivian followed. "She's my sister, but she was wrong. I'm proud of you." The most unexpected message came from Adrian. "I didn't know about the penthouse plan. I would have stopped it. Alina has a lot to learn. And your mother. That was assault. I'm sorry you went through that." At least someone in that circle understood reality. The next day, I changed the locks on my penthouse. Security was updated. Names added to a permanent no-entry list. My parents were at the top. James, the doorman who had greeted me every morning for 3 years, pulled me aside quietly. "I saw the video. Miss Keller, you did the right thing. My daughter went through something similar. Sometimes, family isn't really family." I nodded, because I understood that now. I didn't make an announcement. I didn't post anything. I simply removed them from my life. Blocked. Silenced. Gone. Work became my focus. The promotion meant overseeing operations across 12 countries. Long calls. Constant travel. Decisions that actually mattered. For the first time. My energy wasn't being drained by trying to prove my worth to people who had already decided I didn't have any. Adrian became more than a CEO. He became the mentor my father never was. One morning, over coffee, he said something that stayed with me. "The best revenge is building a life so full, they no longer have a place in it." 3 months later, I received a message from an unknown number. It was a photo. A certificate I had sent after everything settled. 6 months of family therapy sessions. "This is insulting." The message read, "It's necessary." I replied. Then I blocked that number too. My penthouse became what it was always meant to be. A sanctuary. A place where no one could demand, criticize, or diminish me. Every morning, I stood by the glass windows, watching the city wake up beneath me, reminded of what I had built on my own. 6 months passed. Life changed. I was featured in Forbes 40, under 40 recognized for my work in global expansion. The article didn't mention the wedding. It didn't need to. My father's company survived, but barely. It never recovered its former reputation. I heard through industry contacts that he had started therapy. Too late. Maybe. But something. My mother doubled down. She told anyone who would listen that I had chosen money over family. Most people had already seen the truth. They didn't believe her. Alina's marriage lasted 4 months. Counseling had revealed everything that had been hidden: entitlement, dependency, expectations that others would always provide. The divorce was quiet, final. She texted me once more. "I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted." I looked at the message for a long moment before replying. I got what I earned. There was a difference. The family I found at Keller and Rowe became my real one. We celebrated success together, supported each other through pressure. No one demanded I shrink myself to make them comfortable. Adrian's family welcomed me into their dinners, their conversations, their lives. His daughters once told me, "You showed us we don't have to make ourselves smaller for anyone." That meant more than anything my own family had ever said. "If you would make the same decision as me to protect your dignity, keep what you've earned, and walk away from those who tried to take advantage of you, then right, that's absolutely correct. If you would give in and hand everything over just to keep the peace, then write concessions. And if you see it differently, write, 'I think differently,' and share your perspective. I truly want to know what you would do in my situation, because sometimes the hardest choices reveal who we really are. There are moments in life that don't just test your strength, they reveal who you truly are. This is my story. And if you've ever found yourself standing alone, misunderstood, or taken for granted by the very people who should support you, I hope you'll share your thoughts. You're not alone in this. What I learned is simple, but not easy. Self-worth is not something others can define for you. Respect is not something you beg for, it's something you protect. And sometimes, love doesn't look like sacrifice. Sometimes, it looks like walking away. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Because the moment you allow others to take what you've worked for, you slowly lose pieces of who you are. This story isn't just about conflict, it's about boundaries, courage, and the quiet power of knowing your value even when no one else sees it. And if you're still holding on, still fighting to be seen, I want you to know this. Your effort matters. Your journey matters. And you matter. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, like, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Your voice makes this community stronger. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next story.